To the Frugal BC live stream show. We are on Sunday instead of our usual Saturday, but we are here. We're live. We're doing the thing. Got a lot to talk about today. It has been a very interesting week for a lot of. It's been a very interesting week personally. I've been sick most of the week. My car got hit in the parking lot at my day job in the office. I rescued someone on a kayak yesterday. I was going to tell that whole story. I don't think I'm going to, but let's just say it was a really, really crazy week, and it was crazy in crypto too. Crypto is taking off, so good news there. We got a lot going on. Some very interesting things with the channel. I released the 1 month review of my DeFi experiment with some very interesting stuff going on, and we're going to talk about some of that today. I'm going to yammer on about that a little bit. And otherwise, we're going to talk about Algorand price. We're going to look at crypto prices because things are kind of going through the roof. Today, we're going to talk about the ASA charts. And speaking of ASAs, we're going to talk about the collapse of the Algostake platform. That took me by surprise. Unfortunately, I learned about it after I did my DeFi experiment video, so a lot of people were a little confused that I didn't seem to be aware of that. Let's see. We're going to look at a little piece about kind of two perspectives on Algorand and development. One showing it at the very, very bottom of a list of tokens for coins that have daily active developers. Basically, the post said, hey, if you're not on this list, your coin's probably not going to make it. On the other hand, Algorand seems to be one of the top projects, top tokens being downloaded, seeing their SDK kits being downloaded. So that's really interesting. Also, HBAR could see a coupon barrel launched in the summer, and that is going to mean, or probably will mean, a huge spike in price. So we'll talk about that. Townstar Godot now has a date for going live. So the new version of Townstar Godot is supposed to be happening, and we'll talk about where that is, plus an increase in rewards. And another piece looking at, is there a Hedera bubble? Maybe things aren't as happy honky-dory in Hedera land as possible. Honestly, not sure I agree with it, but we're going to look at it anyway because I think it's interesting to talk about. And Congress apparently is drafting a bill for stablecoin regulation with some severe penalties if you don't register with the government. So a lot to look at today, guys. We got a big show today. Welcome, everyone. Glad everyone's on the channel. If you haven't already, I'd love it if you'd hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. You can see all these. The general rule. Now, I do these live streams once a week, usually on Saturday afternoon. Today, thanks to circumstances yesterday, I can do it the kayak incident. I had to move it to today, so we're doing this today. A lot of cool stuff we got going on. Make sure to hit the comments, and as you're watching the live stream, please comment at any time. Ask your questions, anything you want to know about Algorand, HBAR, crypto in general. You got questions or just comments? Leave them in the chat. We will open them as they come up. Oh, my dog is going crazy. Hey, give me a second, guys. Okay, go outside. Sorry about that. Sometimes doggies gotta go. You know how it goes. Yeah, but leave a comment. Ask me some questions during the live stream. I always take a break between segments to talk about that. And yeah, otherwise, I think we'll just get into it. If you guys want to check out NifGen, please go ahead. I'm debating how much longer I'm going to be on NifGen, to be honest. It hasn't had a lot of participation besides me and Sewell, so I'm very frustrated with that. But we'll move on from that. Let's just go right to the charts. We're going to go right to Algorand price. Oh, I got to remember to hold up. So I learned that I can't bring your comments up on screen without crashing the program. So I'm going to have to pull it up on here. So just give me a second while I pull up my own stream, and then I will be able to see your comments and respond to them. Make sure I put the sound down. All right, let's look at the first. Obviously, we're just going to pull up CoinMarketCap. You guys will like this. Interesting that DeFi chain is one of the top community accounts. Yeah, so Bitcoin, I mean, you can just see those green bars there, the green graph, up and to the right. Bitcoin breaking that $30,000 barrier, popped back below it a little bit recently, but I think yesterday morning, but it's back above 30,000, up 7% on the week. Ethereum having a really real rally here. We're talking 14%. Um, Up to 21 over $2,100. That's good to see for Ethereum. If you got some ETH, that's good for you. And pretty much seeing that across the board in some way or another. Just going down through the list, everything from Polygon to Dogecoin, Cardano. Cardano really had a good pump. Solana, well, you know how I feel about Solana. Polkadot, Litecoin, Shiba Inu. Uh, let's see, Avalanche, DAI, Wrap Bitcoin. Yeah, just everything is up. Pretty much. I look at OKB, 28%. That's crazy. Cosmos is doing really, really well. That's a real up and right, up and to the right. Some not so good, like Monero up only 2%, but we're not seeing anything really down. And I'm just trying to see if there's anything else interesting here. Oh, trust. Well, that's a dollar stablecoin. Yeah. So Hedera at 33, and God, I think that moved. I think that just moved recently. I think it was at 32 just when I checked about a half an hour ago. So that's crazy. Arbitrum looking at 40%. Good gosh. Near up 18% almost. That's really good. So that's at 35th. VeChain having a good week. ICP doing really well. And look, Algorand 7%, so not bad. Definitely not one of the top movers, but kind of middle of the road. And it's made it to 39. When I checked yesterday, it was at number 40. But still good news, going the right direction at 23 cents. Like I said with Algorand, it's not the strongest price mover, but you know, it's uh, it's it's gonna move. I mean, it's when the bull market hits, it's gonna affect everything. Everything's gonna go up pretty much. So let's just jump right to Prestige. And I'm seeing a lot of stuff in the biggest gainers, popular. Let's see what we're looking at now. Now, Chips is now number one over DeFi. I think we talked about that last week. And Chips had a really good week. Others did not so much, such as DeFi, Opulus, not doing so well. Opulus still at 18 cents. DeFi 0.004. Prestige, their own token, up to almost 2 cents. That's up and to the right. Bank not so good. Akina Eden not so good. Yieldy. Votecoin had a little bit of a surge recently, 7% on the 24-hour. And I've said this like a million times, but I really wish they had a 7-day thing on here, and I think that's really good to look at. DeFi net up a little bit on the week, as is the new Cosmic Gold looks to be up. Now I have to look into that because there's supposed to be a way that they're going to send this to you. They canceled the old Cosmic Gold, and they took a screenshot because that was a result of the hacks. Someone had hacked the one of the wallets of one of the whales. Someone who had a pretty large percentage, a large number of Cosmic Gold, hacked it and dumped it and just crashed the price to like 50%, and then it went down and down even further. And so what happened was eventually Cosmic Gold was pretty much worthless. So they pulled it off the market. They took a snapshot. So like everyone is supposed to get the new Cosmic Gold. And I haven't checked. I didn't see any transactions that would have led me to believe that I got that gold. I don't see it anywhere, so I'm not sure. All right, my throat's a little scratchy, still from being not feeling well, but yeah, Algostake. So let's talk about Algostake because this is crazy stuff. And I didn't know this, so I started I did my 1 month review of my DeFi experiment where I put $100 into 3 DeFi platforms. Algostake was one of them. I bought $100 of Algostake, and it was worth it. You watch the video; it's crazy. I found it was worth like $16 after being up to 130, and that's because the program announced that they're going to be winding down. Which is this is what happens. So one of these companies winds down, you're holding the bag. You're kind of screwed, right? Well, let's take a look at this. Do, do, do. And in fact, they put this. I saw this on Twitter, but they actually put it over on Reddit. I'm going to share this one instead. Oops. Give me 1 second. You can read that while I. It's the reality of having a dog when you're a live streamer. Okay, but let's take a look at this because, okay, so a service notice, this is how they put this out there, which is a really weird way to put it. After a long and painful deliberation, we have decided to voluntarily cease operations and close down Algostake. Due to multiple reasons, we are going to be bringing down service and dissolving Algostake. One of them being this long and unprofitable crypto winter, and the second reason being that the US government has been taking a hard line something, missing word there, against crypto and crypto companies. Hardline stance, I assume, is what they're saying. We are going to keep service up for 2 weeks. In addition, we will be turning off payouts for Algostake within a week. Please make sure to withdraw your earnings within the next 2 weeks. So, yeah, this is really interesting because what happens with this coin, right? Like, what do you do? What do you do when this project just completely disappears? When this coin's just going to be out there, it's going to be like Algorand, where it's basically worth nothing. So if you put a lot of this is something I've been talking about with ASA risk. You know, what happens if the platform just disappears? I didn't even think about that part. I was just thinking about the volatility, but this is okay. So Assassin even says, "Good, you were falling ever since you reneged on your comments about your $200 USD NFT." I don't remember that. I didn't know about that. Never redid your basic site. Well, that's true, but it worked. So I don't know. I never really had a problem with the site. Weren't you supposed to get pro because you bought? Nope, you baited and switched. Never communicated anything. Stop building. I I bet you sold your holdings before you wrote this. Well, that's speculation. Cashed out and left us with the bag. Such a waste. I wonder who downvoted this. Yeah, I don't know. I one of the things I liked about the platform is that you could just there was no smart contract risk. Like the coin stayed in your wallet. Is why it was actually one of my favorites for a while. It actually stayed in your wallet, and I would say, well, if the platform disappears, you know, your coins are still there. But the problem was when the algo stake itself, like its only point was for the platform. So if it disappears, like yeah, great, you still have it, but it's worthless. So I sold off. I ended up selling it for like $15. So $100 of algo stake went down to $15. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, they say I bet you sold your bag. Well, it'd be interesting to find. Sure, they all get a refund on Algo Stake Pro, right? Looks like they actually answered this one. I purchased a trees NFT to stake yesterday. Dang it. Never mind. I already lost more than that on my stake LP position. I have in Ledger, right, for governor wrecked. Yeah, some people had this in for governance. Yikes. I want to see what they said on this. Well, I guess they didn't. I'm not sure what that means. Sorry about that. They're there, but it doesn't look like another one bites the dust. Well, I got a cool NFT, some experience, some leftovers to throw into chips. Cool NFT looks like, but I edited it for YouTube. Are they just not showing the? Okay, OP. So we only sold coins that were paid for services by the staking entities to pay monthly business expenses. So I think they mean they didn't sell their own coin, but scammers. It was down 45% before they even made their announcement. Is that true? That is not true. We made an announcement on multiple platforms. Um, Let me pull it up on Vestige really quick. I'm just curious. Oops. Algostake. Let's see. It's the 16th today. Yeah, so 3 days ago. Yeah, it doesn't look like that's true. Here, I'll show you the actual tab. You can see that candle is like around the 13th. So clearly that came after or pretty close to the announcement, but it was kind of tanking even before that, as you can see. I mean, just look at this ASA. It's just continually going down. I haven't, and a lot of ASAs do this. They have their little ups moments, but a lot of them just go down down and to the right. Anyway, let's just go back to here. Yeah, I thought this one was funny. I was expecting this announcement from Yieldy first, but I guess it was Algostake that sank. I can only assume Yieldy is still around because no one is there to turn it off. Yeah, I would have surprised. I actually would have thought that Yieldy would have been the one to go. I'm kind of surprised that Algostake, since I haven't heard anything that there was problems with it. I never saw anybody complain about it. Yeah, very surprising stuff. So I don't know about their reasoning. Like, yeah, I know bear markets suck for everybody, but I haven't seen anybody else really collapse. I definitely seen, we saw Kamada. Kamada had cut some staff for sure. So, I mean, they were definitely feeling it. I'm sure a lot of them probably just didn't talk about the staff cuts, but I haven't heard a lot of buzz about that. Doesn't mean it hasn't been happening. So, hard to say. And then what was their other reason? I had to go back and see the reason. Sorry. Oh, the hard line against crypto companies. Well, again, that's something that would affect everybody. And so why Algostake? Or is this the start? Are we going to see more of these companies say, you know what? You know what? If you guys are going to be like this to crypto companies, we'll go do a different company. I don't know, but it's a little bit disturbing to see that happen. I hope it's not the sign of something. That's the one thing I'd really be worried about. Like, is this algo stake collapse, or is this the start of, like, are we going to see more companies start doing this? But hopefully not, because we got some good news coming up about Algorand development on this next segment. So let's take a look at this. Do, 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 do. All right. So this comes from Kyle, who's got a little blue check mark. Said, if your favorite crypto project isn't on this list, there's a good chance it's not going to make it. Don't hate the messenger, adjust accordingly. Only one exception, Bitcoin. Yeah. I mean, maybe. So let's pull out the list. It's really hard to see. It's probably still hard to see. So Ethereum, this is daily. This is a list of daily active developers. I I looked really hard to find a definition of what that means exactly, and I can't quite find it. But as you might expect, Ethereum has the most daily active developers, but Cosmos Hub is not very far behind, as is Polkadot and a couple others. Or Internet Computer and Cardano are another step down, and then everything else just kind of makes a nice little linear growth, except I'm going backwards. All the way at the very bottom is Algorand, so I've made the list. Now, there's a lot of coins that are not on this list, so that's kind of a big deal. Excuse me. But on the other hand, it's like, well, so there's not 40 coins on here, right? So that's a good sign that they're definitely above. punching above their rank in terms of market cap. But you might say also, oh, bummer that it's all the way at the bottom of the list. But then I want to show you something else that I came across, because I thought this was actually really important to see. So this is the downloads of JavaScript SDK, so like the basically the developer kit in the past year, going through the past year by language. And it's by Web 2 developers, which I think an important element there. But so this compared Algorand, Cardano, Helium, Polkadot, and Filecoin. And Algorand is in red. This is, again, really hard to see. I'm going to pop it up a little bit. Algo's kit is in red, and the other one is Polkadot. And they've been increasing, and everyone else's has been flat or going down. And the numbers have been higher. So that's pretty interesting. That shows a lot of people are going to Polkadot and Algorand. Now that doesn't speak to total numbers, because a lot of developers might already have the SDK, but this is new downloads. So that's a pretty good sign for Algorand. So there's two different sides to that coin, which I think is really interesting, and they're both legit, right? So I think we have to take both of those in aggregate and say that the truth is probably somewhere in between. That there's some good signs. Maybe Algorand isn't there yet with the other coins, but it's working its way up, and that's good. That's good to see. Oh, and by the way, while I got everyone on, I have to make some announcements. So I have a live stream scheduled with John Woods for the 24th, and for some reason that date has just been messing me up for whatever reason. First, I didn't see the 24th, so I thought it was last Monday. So I did like a half hour where I just answered people's questions while I thought I was waiting for them, and it turned out I had the date. I forgot about the 24th. I didn't see that in the email. We didn't do like a Calendly or anything like that. And so then I said next Monday, because I thought, oh, they wanted a week. Still not realizing that the 24th is like 2 weeks out. So now I've got my dates squared away. So it's not Monday, but the Monday after Monday, we will be going live with John Woods. I got all kinds of questions for him. I really want it to be the best interview of John Woods, because I want to dig in to get the most information out of him. That's my goal. He's got a lot of good stuff to say, especially on the ISO 20022 thing. That has been driving me nuts. As you know, I made a video that showed that anyone who's working in the blockchain has no idea what you're talking about when you talk about an ISO 20022 coin. And John Woods is one of the people that confirmed, yeah, we don't know where that came from. There's no way that there's nothing for Algorand to be compliant with. Also, it specifically states on the ISO 20022's website that there is no such thing as compliance. There's certainly not such thing as certification. It's just a syntax standard, which will make it easier. It allows banks to save money when they send messages back and forth. Now, it doesn't mean that Algorand and these other coins won't be useful for cross-chain or cross-border payments. It just means that this whole ISO 20022 thing seems to have been conflated. Which, by the way, that went live like a month ago. Although there's been some delays. So let's see what we got on the chat here. Richard Harris says, happy Sunday. I think everyone is struggling at the moment. No one is making money, and there's not enough people or volume coming in. Yeah, that's probably true. Wow, I'm really sorry. I'm really coughing here. What else we got? Christian Cassini says, thanks to Algorand, I expect the amount of developer activity on Algorand to increase substantially. I hope so too. Richard Harris says, JW dates. I'm not sure what you mean there, but okay. All right, yeah, remember, guys, you can leave comments, questions in the chat, whenever you feel like it. Go ahead and chat. We will talk. I'll answer your questions if it's a question, and et cetera, et cetera. So this next one, HBAR HBAR could see Coin Bureau launch this summer, and that could have a huge impact on prices. So let's take a look at this item. It'll just take me a second to pull this up. And this is from HBAR of Wall Street, which I like that name. It says in May, we have Google hosting CM's meeting for Hedera, which is huge. And in June, we potentially have the Coin Bureau going live on the mainnet, pushing the TPS to 10 to 15,000, which means 12x more revenue. So watch for HBAR price in the next couple of months. So that's really interesting. Now, what is Coin Coupon Bureau? Let's take a look at that. Coupon Bureau is a not-for-profit coupon industry association. We provide an open platform for connecting all stakeholders to the universal digital coupon. They're talking about doing AI coupons, which is kind of cool. They're developing a new universal coupon. Yeah, really, really interesting stuff. So I think that could be that's like a really major project if that goes live. We talked about Algorand hosting, this company's this airline's NFT tickets. So like all 15,000 tickets were created as NFTs on the Algorand blockchain, which is super cool. Now we got some really good HBAR news, so I'm really curious to see what will happen with that. Let's see. Pedro Sora says, "Hey, what do you think about?" Sorry, hold on. Bank of Italy deal. One of the digital sureties. Yeah, that's a good one to talk about too. I'll add that to the list. We talked about that on the live stream. Boy, that was months ago now. So yeah, well, it's something I've said for a long time. I think Algorand is going to be the is going to do it's the boring adult in the room. It's going to do all the boring behind the scenes stuff, which will make it a very very good coin. Which is why I still think it's solid, even though I don't think it's a huge price mover, because I think it's just going to stand the test of time because it's going to be so useful for these companies. They're just not going to build on Ethereum because you can't. It's just too slow. It's too expensive. HBAR is going to be big. Algorand is going to be big, and you will see both of those used a lot, and that's why I talk about them a lot. And HBAR I think is just a better price mover for whatever reason. The tokenomics just seem to work for it. I don't pretend to be an expert on tokenomics. Algorand seems reasonable to me too, but clearly supposedly the launch price was botched, and that's the reason why Algorand has struggled. I mean, it did launch at like $3 and then it immediately crashed, and it's never been back to that price. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I think Algorand just keeps doing all this like behind the scenes stuff, which sucks for hype, but it's great for just building a strong protocol. So yeah, we'll see. Uh, Quick update about Townstar Godot. Now I have pretty much quit Townstar. I think it's well, I got a video coming about later in games in general that you guys might be interested in taking a look at. So keep an eye out for that. I started filming that last week. I'm putting a lot of time and effort into it. Should be coming out next week. But anyway, the new version of Townstar Godot, is supposed to go live May 1st. Do I believe it? We'll see. I could definitely see it being pushed back to June, but we'll see. And they've also increased the rewards for the competitions quite a bit, so you want to take a look at that. I mean, a much better chance. I think they went from like 1 million to like 2.4 million gala per competition, which is a lot. Um, Kind of a lot. You know how I feel about Townstar. I think they've really screwed up the game. I don't think they've acknowledged the cheating. They finally did, and then they started kicking out people who were like not cheating, which is crazy. A whole bunch of people who were just playing the game suddenly saw their towns erased, and the participation is pretty low. So we'll see. But good that they got that. One that I didn't put on my list, but actually is live, is Avatars. So Avatars went live. You can just go to the website and play it now. I say that with a caveat because I went there on Friday and I hit quick play and I waited for probably 15 minutes, pretty close to 15 minutes, and nobody showed up. There was nobody playing the game. So yeah, so you can play it, but it doesn't seem like anyone's. I don't know. They got to do more to promote it or something, I guess. But it is live, so you can go try it. And if enough people try it, eventually there'll be someone there. All right, I'm really my voice is going. I think from my illness, but let's take a look at this Hedera bubble bill or story actually. All right, so this piece is called "Building Hedera: The Retail Perspective." HBAR bubble. While HBARbarians are doing a fantastic job in creating NFTs and many dApps, they are failing to reach the broader crypto community. Social engagement remains in a bubble and relatively silent outside of the Hedera bubble. It's vitally important that we break out this echo chamber. Now, I think this is really interesting because this sounds a lot like Algorand. You could say the same thing about Algorand. It's or really a lot of coins, you know. So, but then there's a number of coins that break out of that, and where a lot of people are talking about them and excited about them. But I'm not really sure how you measure that. But I think they do some measuring. Yeah. Social metrics have been falling off a cliff. Recently, this month was the most significant decline in Hedera's social engagement. Let's see. Yeah. Social mentions, social engagement, social contributions, all dropping by 30 to 40%. Well, all around 40, 45%, really. That's kind of wild. I mean, yeah, social engagements here on the. I was looking on the right, but here on the left. Excuse me. Shared links, spam volume, market cap's up, price is up. Maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. Which is interesting because I've always said one of the reasons that Algorand has struggled in price is it just doesn't seem to build social engagement. But apparently HBAR is having the same problem, but they are not having the same problem with price. It says go to Twitter and click search, type in HBAR or Hedera, filter by top for the most socially trending topics with those hashtags. You'll see that Hedera is stuck in a bubble. All it is the same HBARbarians tweeting about Hedera NFTs or why Hedera is a BFT, leaderless, etc. Recently, there have been virtually no trending posts outside of the Hedera bubble. Well, that's the thing though with XRP. All of it, you know, I've looked at XRP content. It's all like, oh, this is going to be the coin of the future. Oh, XRP to the moon. Or they talk about the lawsuit. That's like all you ever see. You never see, hey, here's a cool project on XRP. So, I mean, they're kind of all like that. It's interesting to look at. I mean, I think it's interesting, but it looks like he just kind of goes off on this. So I think it's an important thing to think about, and I think a lot of coins suffer from this. But at the same token, I kind of think like, well, there a lot of them are like that. It doesn't necessarily impact the price at all. So, and it doesn't necessarily impact the projects that are going on because a number, obviously, we just talked about some cool stuff going on HBAR and Algorand. So, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It's an interesting perspective, and I think it's good to take in those perspectives, but it doesn't mean we have to agree with them. Or the thing can be true, but then your next response is, well, so what? And that's kind of my response to this. So what? Anything new? Nope. Okay, last thing. Did I not? Wait, no, I shared it. Okay. I almost thought I didn't share that last one. And Congress, well, you know, Congress has not been kind to crypto lately. Now they're introducing a bill to seriously regulate stablecoins. So let's take a look at this item. It says U.S. Congress to introduce new draft bill for stablecoins. Failure to register as a stablecoin issuer could result in up to 5 years in prison and a fine of $1 million. New draft bill providing a framework for stablecoins in the United States was published in the House of Representatives document repository a few days before a scheduled hearing on the topic on April 19th. The draft puts the Federal Reserve in charge of non-bank stablecoin issuers such as crypto firms Tether and Circle, respectively, issuers of Tether and USDC. Stablecoins are a class of cryptocurrencies that attempt to offer investor price stability by being backed by specific assets or using algorithms to adjust their supply based on demand. And they were introduced in 2014 with the release of BitUSD. According to the document, insured depository institutions seeking to issue stablecoins would fall under the appropriate federal banking agency supervision, while non-banking institutions would be subject to Federal Reserve oversight. Failure to register could result in up to 5 years in prison and a fine of $1 million. Issuers out of the United States would seek registration to do business in the have to seek registration to do business in the country. And then they have a little draft of the bill. Among factors for approval is the ability of the applicant to maintain reserves backing the stablecoins with US dollars or Federal Reserve notes, Treasury bills with a maturity of 90 days or less, repurchase agreements with maturity or 7 days of subs backed by Treasury bills with a maturity of 90 days or less, and central bank reserve deposits. So, I mean, having some clarity on this stuff isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, it's actually good if we have some regulations that govern how this works. And when there's rules in place, they can't go back and say, "Well, you didn't follow this new rule that we're making up." No, you have to stick to the rules that are on the books. If it says you can do it, then you can do it. One of the big problems with crypto right now is just a lack of regulatory clarity, which is kind of nuts. Why would you want to keep it vague? Well, of course you want to keep it vague if you want to make up the rules as you go, which is kind of what the federal government has been doing in terms of crypto. Most other countries have pretty defined regulations or lack thereof, but the U.S. has maintained this like middle zone of, well, we don't want to really tell you what to do, but we're going to tell you after the fact so we can go after you. Kind of what was happening with Coinbase. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. It's interesting because they have their own designs around a federal government stablecoin, and I think that's a disaster. I don't want the government to be able to track where every dollar I spend goes. Yeah, I probably spend a lot on my credit card anyway. I probably use it almost exclusively. But I like the idea if I do want to pay for something in cash, I can do that and they can't see it. So that's my thought. You guys are really quiet today, but we had quite a few people on the chat. But it's kind of tapered off. Very interesting. I'm always curious, like, we had a much bigger audience today than usual, but also not as active of a chat. So very interesting. I'll have to think about do that. I'm going to try to while I'm talking here. I'm just going to pull up. Oh, is that the old one? I'm going to try to find the avatars game here. The Algorand gaming guild comes up, but not the actual Alg. That's super fascinating. Here, I'll find it on here. And I'm just going to pull up the game here and see if I can get a game, and we'll play the game together a little bit before I go and eat some supper. But yeah, you guys doing anything cool this weekend? Why don't you let me know in the chat? Any crypto games that you guys like? Oops, sorry, I had the mute on. Yeah, so I'm gonna pull up the avatars game and see if we can play a game here together. Oh yeah, I gotta shoot. Hold on a second. See if we can play a game together. I don't know if I kind of doubt. Anyone's gonna show up. Oh, now it doesn't want to work. All right, I'm gonna have to pull the live stream off of here. I'll try that again. Huh. All right, I can't even log into it. So, well, I tried. I guess that's the show for today. I hope everyone is having a great weekend. And yep, Monday is coming, so that's a bummer. But yeah, really interesting stuff going on in the Algorand ecosystem and HBAR as well. So and the price. Obviously, we always feel good about these prices. Now, I don't know if this might be the start of the mini bull run, or it might just be a surge for whatever reason. But let's not. Either way, we're happy. It's always good to see the prices going up. We've had a long crypto winter, so good to see that on the rise. And I hope you guys are doing well out there today. Just wanted to see if we had any. There, now we're live again. Yeah, that's it. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting the like button and subscribe, I'd appreciate that. Comments are always good. Tell your friends, and you'll see all our experiments. You can see our live experiment going on right now with a number of DeFi platforms. And that's going to be interesting next week when I try to find new platforms to or new things to invest in. So, all right, guys, thanks so much. Stay safe out there. Remember, not your keys, not your crypto. Get all your stuff on a ledger and for ultimate safety. And as always, I'm Frugal BC, and I will see you in the future.